The modern trans movement is no longer about equal rights and dignity. It's about a baying mob demanding that you deny biological sex or else. We saw as much during the treatment of women's rights campaigner Posie Parker in the New Zealand leg of our international tour titled Let Women Speak. And what did we find? Bays of mostly feral men foaming at the mouth, desperate to stop a woman from speaking. Their arsenal? Tomato soup, expletives and trans flags. Now, we know that these so-called protesters expose themselves to be violent thugs, but I think something really quite pernicious runs at the heart of this, and it's called misogyny. Let's just look at the figures. Over 70% of those that identify as trans are biological men with, you guessed it, penises. It's no wonder then that it's mostly women and women's spaces that are ritually sacrificed at the altar of trans rights. Something stinks here, and it's called misogyny.
She is just sick and tired of having to step on eggshells on this issue. I think she is a brilliant champion for women's rights. And she, you know, sometimes she has to be blunt. Sometimes she has to stick her foot in it. Sometimes she has to say things as they are, rather than pretend that things that aren't true are true just to keep people happy, to be politically correct. If it weren't for her, then women like me wouldn't feel comfortable speaking up on these types of issues. People like Dominique wouldn't. If it weren't for J.K. Rowling, if it weren't for Posie Parker, or Kelly J. Keane, which is her real name, I believe, we would feel like we couldn't.
It's Posie Parker that is all around the world trying to let women speak. And the reason why we must be blunt here is because we are losing ground, quite frankly. Everywhere you turn, men are being shoehorned into women's spaces. And I think we need to be clear here. Men that identify as women are trans, but that doesn't make them a biological woman. Therefore, we shouldn't have to share changing rooms. We shouldn't have to participate in the same sports. We shouldn't be in the same rape shelters. It's inappropriate.
How can you look at the scenes in New Zealand and think that she is the one in the wrong? Did you see the clips? She was being threatened.
So you don't think that my life as a woman, say if I wanted to participate in professional sport, you don't think my life as a woman is impacted by a biological man wanting to play basketball, for example, with me and other women? You don't think there's an advantage there? When you actually look at the statistics, trans people, trans men, well, men that identify as women actually have similar offending rates as that of biological men, and record numbers of those actually have convictions for sexual assault in prison.
Why, as soon as a man says that they are a woman, do we suddenly always believe? You know, that this is a topic that women feel very, very strongly about. They've been cowed for a long time. People like Posie Parker have allowed women, normal women, to have a voice, and I think that's got to be a good thing.
Nobody's saying that all trans people or all trans women are criminals, but there is a tendency of people to use dressing up as a woman to fulfil their own sexual fetishes and actually use the new environment that we have now to take advantage of that.